Welcome to the Confident and Courageous Clarity Podcast with me, Jatia Jones. Join us weekly for everything clarity. The truth is, once you have clarity, you'll have the confidence and courage to succeed in life and business. If you're new to the podcast, you should know my goal is to help you gain the clarity needed to transform your visions, goals, or dreams into reality. So let's jump right into today's episode. For my OG listeners, you all know that the podcast was birthed from the evolution of Mocha Monday's Tip of the Week. So when we moved to the podcast, I couldn't just leave you without your mocha. Therefore, at the beginning of each episode, I give you your drop of mocha, and you are to implement it throughout the week to help inch you closer and closer to clarity. This week's drop of mocha is: once you realize who you are and whose you are, and that God made heaven and earth so he couldn't mess up making you, it no longer matters what others think. So ask yourself, who gonna check you, boo? This week's guest is Evelyn, the owner of Evelyn LeVasseur Fitness, a company that focuses on helping busy, overwhelmed moms reach their body goals without dieting or deprivation. After almost 19 years of dieting, on and off, Evelyn realized that focusing on food and exercise was just a band-aid to the real issue that were bringing on weight gain. She teaches her clients to eat in a way that keeps their bodies healthy and feeling satisfied. No more restrictions. She wants every woman to know she can want to change her body and love it at the same time. Most importantly, Evelyn knows that if we want our children to grow to be strong, self-loving, and confident, we must be willing to live that for ourselves. Evelyn is sure to focus conversations around the idea of leaving legacies of health for our children and the generations that follow. Evelyn is a transformation speaker, nutrition coach, certified group and personal trainer, and has a specialization in behavioral change. She also has a BA in psychology and a master's in education. So let's hop right into today's episode. Hello, ma'am.
Hello, hello.
I'm so excited to have you.
Me too.
So they've had your bio and everything already. And before we even jump in, I want them all to know, people watching us and listening, that I asked Evelyn to come on because it's so easy to let diet, your mentality around diet, eating healthy, cooking yourself, like all of the healthy stuff go by the wayside when you really like get focused and blinded by purpose and trying to start a business and or do all the hats in a business. And so I absolutely love her thought process and mission behind this area in life. And so that's why I invited her on. So you've heard her bio, but I want you to tell the people, who are you, what you do.
So I am Evelyn. I'm the owner of Evelyn LeVasseur Fitness, and essentially I help busy moms um, reach their body goals without dieting or any deprivation, because I have experienced it myself and I know the toll that it takes on you mentally and physically. But more important than that, I know the toll that it takes on our children. So I think living a life and knowing that I make choices to better myself. Yes, I feel good in the moment. Yes, I am my most productive, energetic self, but also I get the satisfaction of knowing that I've made this foundation for my daughters that will keep them from falling prey to diet culture, or those feelings of I'm not enough, or those feelings of I have to shrink myself to be valuable. The more I work on myself, the stronger legacy of health that I will leave behind.
I absolutely love it. And most people, for the most part, especially those of us who are walking in purpose, it really is about the legacy piece, whether you have kids of your own or just nieces, nephews, cousins,
Yep.
whoever, the people
hmm
you don't know who are watching you. It really is about legacy. And so it reels it home and is 10 times more important to us when it is family or kids, right?
hmm
So I think even though your target population are moms, which
hmm
a good bit of my listeners are, I think your message rings home for so many people just in general because like you and I were saying earlier, we put ourselves last. It's so easy for us to put ourselves last. And I'm always telling people to make sure your cup is full, give from your saucer, not from your cup, your
Yep.
overflow.
Hmm.
And we don't do that. We think that, giving to everybody else first is the best policy, and
Yep.
it's so not. Um, so I guess my first question for you, because I want everyone to always know that we're human, we're real people.
Hmm.
Because so many people show up when they're already there, right?
Yep.
They're already successful and they've mastered this thing called exercise, right? Which I hate running, but I try to do it
Oh,
for my health. Right, exactly. And I guess I should also tell the people one of the things that we have in common that I love so much is coffee and wine. So living the life that you have to live. But like, what was like, I'm probably gonna get out of order, but like, what was the light bulb moment for you that said, okay, this was my purpose, and for me to kind of do this thing, and that it was important?
well, before I tell you that, I do want to tell you that we also have something else in common. I don't like to run. And I just warn everybody, if you see me running, call for help because I'm in trouble. I don't want to run. I don't want, there's nothing joyful about it for me. But my journey, I feel like, was layered. Um, I think that I had multiple aha moments um, from the beginning. So I was a super athletic kid, which kept me very fit, and I got a ton of attention for my body. So much that like I took that on as a part of who I was. So when I went to college and I put on a little bit of weight, that freshman 15, um, I felt like I didn't know, like, who's Evelyn? If Evelyn's body is not what everybody says it was, then who is she? And that's when I kind of found dieting, because it felt like it gave me a little bit of control. Like if I just follow what Jatia told me to do, then I'm going to get the result. It felt organized. It felt, intentional. I could just do this and get here. Um, but what I didn't realize at the time was that following that plan or following that diet took me away from me. It left me, always in the power of something else. I was always under the control of the diet instead of me. Um, Now, granted, this was a 19-year process for me, dieting on and off, losing, regaining, shaming myself, feeling guilty. Um, Now, when I was 27, I married my husband who wanted children very quickly. And once I was ready, um, we did get pregnant very quickly, but we also lost our first child. My first pregnancy, we got pregnant a second time very quickly, and we made it almost halfway through the pregnancy the second time and lost that one as well. And I remember getting to a really just a dark place emotionally, and almost begging God, like, I know in my heart that I am meant to be a mother. Just let me do this. Just let me do this. So, you know, with a lot of prayer and journaling and crying and more crying and trying to heal. About a year later, we tried again, and this time I got pregnant again very quickly, and I stayed pregnant. And the difficult thing for me is that I felt my belly grow. I felt the baby move. And even though the second you find out you're pregnant, there's a part of you that changes, there's a part of you that is connected. There's a part of you that is planning for your future. You can see your future, but also there was a part of me that was holding me back from feeling the joy that I should have felt, because I was so afraid that losing a third baby would break me. Um, But in February 2009, I gave birth to my first baby girl. And I'm Jatia, I was laying on that table and the doctor put her near my face. I could feel her little face on my cheek. When the doctor held her there and I heard her cry, it was like I took my first deep breath, right? And I remember telling God, like, I am not just going to be a good mother. I'm going to be an exceptional one. I'm going to be an exceptional mother. And I did everything in my power to be intentional in raising her, to be a strong, self-loving individual who could focus on people's character rather than their bodies. I was trying to undo all of my painful lessons through her. Um, Now, the thing is, let's flash forward about almost 3 years ago. I was at a picnic with my husband and my two daughters now, because I have two little girls. And a woman says to my daughter, who was 10 at the time, honey, if you want to keep that figure, you better lay off those burgers. And my eyes did that, just like yours are doing right now.
10?
Yes, she was 10. First of
Yes,
all,
the
10-year-old,
metabolism
like,
of, like, everything. She can eat what she
yes.
wants.
And 10 years old, like, what do they know about a figure? You
Right.
know? So in the moment, of course, I was furious because I spent so much time trying not to make her think that way, or making sure that those thoughts never entered her mind. Um, but that moment to me was my light bulb. That was when I saw, wow, we moms want the best for our kids. We want them to be who they are meant to be, but we teach them to shrink. We say you can be anything as long as you fit in this box. We teach them smaller is better. We teach them about the importance of your exterior. Um, and I feel like that was a light bulb for me twofold, because one, that's when everything changed with how I work with my clients. I stopped focusing on just nutrition and exercise, because those parts are important, but they don't address the whole woman. Then it
Mm.
also was a light bulb for me, because I realized I was raising my daughters with intention. I was teaching them the lessons I wanted them to learn verbally. However, I did not feel those things about myself. I was teaching them about health, but still feeling like I needed to shrink. I was teaching them about confidence, but still living in self consciousness. I was, this is my biggest lesson that I've learned. I was grateful for the relationship with my husband. I was grateful for these daughters that I prayed for. I was grateful for my home. I was grateful for my work that I love, but I was not grateful for me. I didn't even I didn't even put myself in the equation. Like, I looked at my life like an outsider looking in. And I think that to be truly grateful and to truly heal inside, I had to learn, and I say this to myself all the time now, I am not just blessed, I am a blessing. I am a blessing. And that was my moment to realize that if I wanted my daughters to grow and be strong and self confident and self loving and self accepting, then I better show them what that looks like, not just wish it for them.
Ooh, that's really good. I love that. And it really goes back to, like we were saying earlier, putting ourselves last, because
Mhm.
you didn't even put yourself in the equation.
Nope.
And then the light bulb goes off. And since putting yourself first as the example, like everything else is falling into place. That's
Hmm.
made things better for them and your clients. Ooh, that's
Hmm.
really good.
Hmm. And there's a different level of your impact when you start to feel like it's in me, but it's not about me. Like, I feel these things. First of all, I deserve to feel good. I deserve to feel good in my skin as I am without changing a thing about me. And I did not know that before. I did not know that before. But there's this ripple that's created when you feel good and you change your perspective and you start seeing the power that you gain within yourself, people around you level up too. People around you rise to your energy. It's an incredible feeling to know and to be told how good other people feel when they're around you. And that's like my constant reminder that I'm doing the right thing, I'm living the right way, I'm being true to myself and really impacting people that I come in contact with.
That is so true. So I always have to tell people, and I'm big on analogies and things like that.
Mhm.
So for me, the way that and I'm a visual learner, so I have to tell people all the time, it's like it's easier, and a lot of times we to make other people feel comfortable, vibrate down to their level. And just as much energy as it drains from us to vibrate down to their level, it does for them to vibrate up to ours. And so ABCs of clarity: acceptance, believing, and connecting. But in the realm of acceptance, we have to accept that the people down here, if they don't want to vibrate higher,
Mhm.
to leave them be. And if and when one day they want to, then by all means, if you choose to, welcome them with open arms. But your people, your tribe, will look at you as an inspiration and want to just naturally vibrate to your level and
Mhm.
say, if she can, I can,
That's right.
and or just really be filled and inspired by your energy, right?
Mhm.
Because a lot of times we're like, especially when we switch to purpose, right? And we're focused, and now we know that's what this thing is. You get those that are like, oh, she thinks she's too good, right? Which is why I'm always like, who gonna check you, boo? Who?
That's right.
Because yes, maybe I am, right? But it's not about me, it's about those that I'm really focused on serving and helping, like you said.
Mhm.
So all of that is so good. Oh my goodness, that's so good. So look, I'm trying to stay focused because I could talk to you all day long. So I'm
I
like,
could go off on a tangent too. We get talking and that's it.
right, exactly. So I'm like, Jatia, stay focused because like five other thoughts just popped in my head
Mhm.
as you were talking about that. Because also being a business owner, entrepreneur, and especially solopreneur, the whispers of doubts get loud. And then those whispers about self get even louder,
Mhm.
right? So we shrink without even knowing that we do.
Mhm.
Um, on top of already putting ourselves last, on top of saying, well, I don't have time to eat better, or I don't have time to take a 30-minute walk because the to-do list is, longer than a CVS receipt, right?
Mhm.
So,
And that's long.
right, exactly. And it just continues to grow. And so even just having the time to really focus on like our mindset to change those things, right? So I don't want to hold you all day either, but we're here to talk about like how you help women better themselves and their kids for
Mhm.
legacy purposes, to reach their body goals without dieting or deprivation, right? And so in the realm of clarity, you need clarity to know how to do that, to where to start, or
Mhm.
what to do. And because you've talked about how you had to do that for yourself, I'm going to ask you the questions I always ask everyone else.
Okay.
Um, because I feel like that'll answer at least three of the five things that just popped in my head without me having to have us like repeat everything and me be like, oh, you just answered that. Okay, so like the first thing is like, what's something you've had to or have to still accept about your past, present, and future to free you to reach the heights that you desire in business?
So I have definitely lived my life crippled with the fear of failure. And even you just mentioning that self doubt creeping in, right? Like now I've learned that self doubt is just fear wearing a different mask. So failure doesn't exist to me anymore. I can't fail. I can't fail because anytime something doesn't go the way I thought it should, it was just because I was meant to learn something else from it. So I feel like accepting the thought that failure doesn't exist just propels me forward, because instead of sitting and feeling bad and questioning, am I supposed to be doing this, or letting that doubt take over, I can just say, like, what was I supposed to learn from this, and then move on. And I think, like, allowing myself to fail, technically fail, and learn from it also removes that fear that I carried with me of, like, judgment or needing to be perfect or not wanting to make mistakes. Like, now I just know that it's all part of the process. Every single thing that I encounter, everything I learn is teaching me something. And I think I remind myself that with everything that doesn't go well, I learn to be a better version of me. So I can look forward to the other side.
I love that. And it's so very true. It's so very hard, but it's
Yes.
so very true. It is so very true. I'm always saying, okay, God, I see what you did there. I don't think it's funny. I wish I didn't have to, like, did I really have to go through that? But hindsight really is 2020.
Hmm.
And to your point, like, the lessons learned, okay, rewind to you. Clarity's in the doing.
Hmm.
And once you do, whether it's a misstep or your next best step, it's still a step. And so I love that you said it's your next best version. So I
Hmm.
absolutely love that.
Hmm.
What's one thing you must believe to achieve, as cliche as it sounds, but what's that one thing?
Now I know that I have to believe that I was created for this. I was created with this in mind. I was created to be a, generational curse breaker. I was created to help women find their best selves and raise their daughters to be their best selves. I was made for this.
Oh, all of that just spoke to my soul because
Mm.
I'm always trying to course correct, and I really feel like most of us who are purpose driven, we are trailblazers if nothing else, but we really are trying to break those generational
Mhm.
cycles and or curses because all
Yep.
of the cycles aren't curses, but and it's so hard, but yeah,
Hmm.
we're cherry plucked to do the thing that we do
Hmm.
exactly how we do it. I love that.
Hmm.
Okay, so what's one belief you've had to unlearn in order to achieve where you are now?
I used to believe, I used to believe that I would be happy once I reached a specific goal. Like, I could be happy, I could live in the moment when I got to the moment. But the truth is, I can never be happy with my future self if I don't appreciate the current one. So,
Come on.
mm-mm, no, I will not be happy when I will be happy now.
Come on. Love it.
Mm,
Yes, because there are so many of us that are like, I will win, and win never gets here.
hmm.
Ooh, that is, I love that.
And I think being like a chronic dieter in the past, it was always like, I thought when I was thinner, I would feel better. I thought when I reached that goal, I would feel worthy, right? But no, 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 no. Like, that's the thing. The change happens from the inside out. And it's really a matter of, I feel good, therefore my body begins to change in a different way. Not, I lost weight, now I feel good, because you can lose weight and just feel like a smaller version of your unhappy self.
Mic drop. Like, that's a whole word in itself. Yes. Oh my goodness. So very true. Okay, so what's one belief you have that you want to instill in your clients?
I want my clients to know that they're already enough, that they don't have to change a thing about them to feel worthy or valuable or impactful or powerful. They can want to change their bodies for sure, but they can love and accept themselves in the process. They are enough. I am enough. You are enough right this very second.
Yes, so true. So very true. Okay. So, how has embracing all aspects of you
Mhm.
contributed to your success or equipped you to do what you do? I know we've talked a lot about how the pieces connected to get you here, but
Mhm. I think that letting go of shoulds, letting go of fear, letting go of, not that fear doesn't ever creep in, but not being controlled by it, letting myself just be, really seeing myself for the first time for who I am, not what I look like, made me feel centered, made me feel powerful, made me feel just, this sounds so silly. I feel unshakable. I feel like nothing that anyone says or does or complains about or comes at me with can change who I know I am. And that in that is like next level freedom.
Yes, that is power.
Yes.
That is power. And you're right, freedom is that word because no one else can have control
Hmm.
over you and your thoughts and your actions.
Hmm.
It's just free to be.
Yeah. And it's not a feeling of like I'm better than. No. I'm not better than, because the truth that I don't ever need to compare myself to anyone. I am I am just worthy of being me, and that's all I need to be.
Like so many, I'm gonna have to like pull so many quotes from this one because you're like the things that you're saying make my whole entire soul happy right now. It's like yes, yes, and yes.
Hmm. Hmm.
Oh,
And just like the thought, right? Just the thought that I could raise my daughters to feel this way about themselves, my soul is smiling from the inside, truly. Like, because Evelyn in the past, Evelyn who was self conscious, Evelyn who was striving for this smaller body, this smaller version of herself, was going to raise daughters who felt like they weren't enough, who felt like they needed to shrink, who felt like they needed to be smaller to be valuable. And releasing that gives me the power to raise them in power too.
and it gives them so many more years back on their life.
Yes.
We all have those lessons that we have to learn in life, but that is freedom again, is gonna like free them
Mhm.
to reclaim so much of their time
Mhm.
of the woulda, shoulda, couldas.
Yep.
Like, oh,
Yep.
that is a blessing. Like, if
Yep.
nothing else, to be able to give your children that,
Mhm.
I think is a really magnificent gift, especially as a female.
Yeah. I feel like that in and of itself. I mean, we talk about confidence and acceptance and body image and things like that. But I think to release the shoulds, to raise your children without like forcing your own expectations on them, the gift that you're giving them is self trust. And if they're grounded in that, no one can take that away. No one can take that away.
Nope. And they make such better decisions quicker, sooner, faster.
Yes.
And they're confident in their decisions. And
Hmm.
that's gonna give them that glow
Hmm.
to their future husbands,
Hmm.
to the crowd of friends that they attract because they are so rooted in themselves.
Hmm.
All of that.
I
Love all.
pray. I pray that I pray that that is the quality that they take, because I mean, what a beautiful gift, or even what a beautiful sight, when a woman walks in any room and she feels that confidence in herself, you feel elevated just being next to her.
Right. That
I
gives me
mean,
chills, like
yes.
literal chills right now because when you just feel so good in your skin, it's a whole new world. It's
Hmm.
a whole new world. And yes,
Hmm.
like you can tell when like you see those people walk down the street
Hmm.
and their style is so not yours. And
Hmm.
you're like, that's really weird and funky, but it looks good.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
You're
she's
like,
doing her thing. She's
right.
doing
It's
the
because
thing.
she feels good in her skin. She
Hmm.
thinks that her outfit is the flyest thing ever, and she's walking. It's that inner glow. You
Hmm.
really do become a lighthouse
Hmm.
because of that inner glow. Absolutely love it. Okay. So I always ask to like who's in your squad because they know you're in my squad. Like
Hmm.
who do you want to shout out that has helped you reach some level of success or who you're connected to, and then we'll let them know how they can connect with you.
Awesome. Well, I mean, of course, Jatia is like my girl, my go-to for all things clarity, and all things connection. You know, if I say, "Hey, I'm thinking about this," she's like, "I've got a person." um, I have connected with so many people more through having gone through P2P. Um, I connected with so many like-minded, like-hearted, purpose-driven people. But I regularly stay in contact with Nicole Roan. Nicole Roan and Danielle Washington and I run a Wisdom and Wine Wednesdays on Clubhouse. Love it. We talk about all the things. Gurpreet
Yeah.
is my soul sister,
Mm-hmm.
all the way on the other side of the world.
I know,
We
right?
actually put little sticky notes saying we're 5 hours apart, so we know. Whitney, conscious parenting at its finest, Whitney Johnson. And then there's Gail Jackson, Samantha Washington, Marsha Ann, all the way in Jamaica, still sending me love through text message and voicemails all the time. Sandra for all things tech, and Krista just like helping keep me on track. And I love knowing that when I connected with these women, like, it didn't matter if doubt was creeping in, it didn't matter if I was questioning my purpose, it doesn't matter. I can reach out and they will lend a hand, judgment free,
Yeah.
and just help me talk through whatever I'm going through and get back on the right path. So I feel like the squad is everything.
Isn't it though? And like all of those people that you named, them just like,
Uh-huh.
And some of those
Mhm.
names they actually will find familiar from being guests on the podcast too.
Oh,
So
see?
yeah. Love it, love it. Okay, so yes, tell them how they can connect with you and get everything like the confidence and the inner glow and reach those body goals without deprivation
Yeah.
and dieting.
So um, I think that small steps are the best steps. I think that, um, letting go of the dieting and trusting your intuition is incredibly important. And that really is where I help people the most, to let go of those shoulds and rules and guidelines and trust who you are, and what you are and what you know. Because listen, your body is constantly speaking to you. We've just been trained to ignore it. So that's where I start when I work with clients, one-on-one or in a group setting. But I'm always on Instagram and Facebook at Evelyn LeVasseur Fitness. And also you can find me on the web at evelynfit.com, where I do quite a bit of blogging, and have a little mommy and me t-shirt shop, because we're going to change the world and we're going to start in our homes. Let me tell you
That part. I
that.
believe it without a shadow of a doubt, and I'm so excited about it. They'll have all of your links in the show notes. Guys, go find her, link up with her, partner with her, work with her. She's absolutely amazing, and y'all know that I don't bring anybody on here unless I know that I know that I know that I know that they're absolutely amazing. So, with that, thank you, ma'am. I so appreciate you. This has been amazing.
I am so looking forward to the day that we're like having coffee in real time.
Seriously, me, you,
Mhm.
and Preet, we've already talked about this.
That's right. That's right. We're gonna do the thing.
Exactly, but no, definitely, I can't wait to give you a big hug in person.
Yes.
Yes, all the coffee and all the wine and maybe some
Mhm.
other beverages. I'm down for that too.
Same thing. Same here. All right.
Well, thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Didn't I tell you she'll be dropping some gems? This episode was so good. It literally gave me chills to think about the environment and the mindset that she is setting for her daughters and her future legacy thereafter. If you're not already following Evelyn, do so right now. All of her information is in the show notes. And with that, have a marvelous, marvelous, marvelous Monday, and I'll see you back here, same time, same place next week.